Hi there and welcome to a new video. In this one I want to show you how you can actually start using resources in your Godot games, because this is something that will actually allow you to create games easier, and it's an amazing good practice. So for example, here I'm going to be showing you how you can actually take advantage of this. With this example, I have 3 different players and they share this exact same player stats resource, and this resource has some properties that I have set up, such as a health, a speed, and the color. So basically these players have their own player stats with their own data, okay, health, speed, color, etc. And then in their scripts they have these lines, okay. First of all, they have access to the player stats resource, and I'm changing their self modulates to the color that I'm providing here, and I'm also updating some labels that they have, basically following once again the data that we have in the resource. So when we actually run this sim, this is the result that we get. For example, player 1 has 10 of health, 50 of speed and color red, and 100 of health, 50 speed, color red, and the exact same thing happens with the others. 50, 70 green, 50, 70 green, 30, 90 pink, 30, 90 pink, okay. So it's quite a good practice for when you need to have some kind of statistics or stats for different elements of your game, such as for different players, enemies, etc. And the idea is that you learn how to actually use resources so that you find your own usages. So I will show you how you can create something similar. So first of all, I just have here a pretty simple setup with a player sprite and 2 labels that display this information. So the first step is to actually create a script, okay. So right click in the resources folder, create new script. Now here we want to inherit from resource, okay, because this will allow us to create the resource script. And you can save it wherever you want. I will save it right there with the name player stats. Okay, now I will open this up, and as you can see, it seems that it is a normal script. So first of all, resources, we need here to declare the different properties that our resource will have. So in my case, and always we use the export annotation to be able to set these values in the inspector. So for example, we'll create here a variable that I will call color, okay, and it's going to be of type color. I will also have a speed integer and a health. It could be an integer, float, wherever you want. There are literally no restrictions. And something that I didn't mention in the beginning, so let me show you quite quickly, is the fact that not only can you store variables, but also functions. I have a function here, get random color. So for example, here in this other example, instead of setting it to the color in the player stats, I could just call this method get random color, okay, which would return actually that's a random color. So now every single player will have a random color, as you can see, and in every single session it's going to be different, okay. So you can store literally anything that you want. So well, coming to the example that we were having, I will also paste these lines so that we also use them if you want. You can even create signals, and then what they also tend to have is a class name, because what we need to do then, this is just a script, okay, but it is not a resource itself. So we can right click once again and create a new resource. And as you can see, this resource has or could be of different types, okay, but in this case we want to have a resource of type player stats, okay, with this name. And as you can see, we can't find it over here. So what we could do is to basically create here a new resource and just create a base resource, and I will name it player stats. But now in this resource we have to reference our player stats script, and now we do have access to the fields that we have set over here, and also we would have access to the different functions. But there is a simpler way of doing this, And that is basically here at the top of everything, put a class name. For example, player stats, and class names are usually declared on top of extents and in a Pascal case, basically with this naming convention. So now instead of having to do that, let me delete this resource and I will create another one. And now if I look for player stats, okay, make sure that this is saved, and let's do it again. Now as you can see, I do find player stats. I will save it once again as player stats. And as you can see, it has the exact same thing. It is a brand new resource, okay, but that has the reference to the corresponding script, but it is a little bit faster to find it. And now with this, I will create another script in my player, okay. Right over here, I will create a new export variable that I'm going to call the export stats, and here the type, I can also, as I have said the class name, I can set it to player stats. If you haven't set the class name to player stats, you could just, for example, make this variable type resource, okay, and it will work. But well, this is to be more specific, okay, because then in a bigger project you would have like a lot of resources, so it's better to reference exactly this type of resource. And once you actually have this, you can do whatever you want. I can, for example, update my self-modulate, basically my color, to be player stats.color. I can then grab the different labels and converting this type to a string to be able to modify the text correctly. I can just use that data, and of course I can do the same thing but with the speed label. So make sure that you're converting this to a string, because if not, this is going to drop an error. For example, let's do it like this, and as you can see, this is not returning an error, but if I do not convert this into a string, I will get an error here. Or well, actually, when I run this scene, as you can see, well, now I'm having an error over here, but because I am not referencing here the player stats, so let's quick load it. And now when I run this scene, I will have an error, but in this line, because I'm trying to modify a text property with a type int, and this should actually be a string, okay. So like this, and now I should have no error, okay. So there we have it. Now let me create here a main scene so that we start instantiating the different players. So let's click over here to create the player instances. And now something that you have to take into account, let's firstly organize this hierarchy a little bit. So let me put my scenes right over here, then my scripts over here, and things related to resources, let's put them in another folder. So what you have to know is the fact that if I have, let's say, 2 players, let me duplicate this one right there, and I will move it. Okay. So what happens is that if I modify one data from one player, so let's set this color to be, I don't know, some kind of green color, and I don't know, speed to 50 and health of 25. If I go to player 2, they will have the exact same data. And this is because what we are doing over here, if we come back to the resource, is that the resource itself has been modified. So this is something that you may want in some situations. For example, if this would just be for players and you want all your players to have your exact same stats, well, this would be okay. But in this case, I want to have players with different stats. So there are 2 ways of doing this. You could have one resource, for example, player stats 1. This would be just for player 1, let's say. So for this player, and then I could duplicate this with Control D. And for player stats 2, basically for players 2, the data could be instead of green, red, and let's say with different data. So player 2 will reference this new player stats 2. Okay, so player stats 2 and player 1 would reference player stats 1. And now we do have different data, as you can see. But well, another way of doing this, I want to show you another way. Let me delete this. exactly like this. Okay. So another way of doing this, I would like to keep my resources like with the default values. Okay. And then over here, before modifying anything, we click on this arrow and we make this unique. So now if I modify anything here, let's put anything. I'm gonna go to my root resource. As you can see, now we have unique values. So I can create a copy. I have to remember to make this one unique again, because if not, I will override everything. And I can put, I don't know, these are the values. Let's make this yellow. And now, as you can see, with the exact same resource, I have completely different values. And in the root resource, let's call it, we have like the default ones. So well, those are two different ways of doing the same thing. You can do whichever you like and whichever suits your needs better. So now when we, for example, play, there we have it, okay? And actually over here, we can add the health text so that it doesn't only display the health itself, but also like more information on what that number is. Okay, so there we have it. And once again, we can check red, okay, health speed of 100 and health of 500. And the other one is yellow, health 20 and speed 50. This is not ordered correctly, but well, we could just do it like this, and then everything will be sorted out as it should. So we have health, let me select the first one, health 500, speed 100. The other one, yellow, 20 health, speed 50. So there you have it. If you're serious about leveling up your Godot skills, check out my course. In less than 6 hours, you'll master Godot fundamentals while building this amazing project. Links in the description. See you there.